Okay, so welcome back to another 16-minute, 29-second with GaCo video. Again, this is new for us, so we're just learning how to be comfortable with this format, right, guys?
Yep.
But we do want to share with other teams some of the things that we're doing, because I know we've learned a lot from having teams share with us. So this episode is all about the GaCo, something called the GaCo model, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so the last session we did was about our vision. And so who wants to start us talking about the GaCo model?
So our GaCo model has three main components. The first one is developing community partnerships and then mentoring younger first teams. And then our last one is making a systemic impact.
And I think before we get involved too much in this, let's go ahead and introduce who's talking this afternoon here.
So I'm Liv.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Katie. I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Noah.
I'm Lori.
And I'm Chuck. For those of you who don't know much about GaCo, we're comprised of students from two high schools. We have two high schools in our rural school district here in Garrett County. So we have Noah from Northern High School, and then we have the rest of you young ladies from Southern. And interesting about our team is we're about equally split with girls and boys. So we have just about as many girls on our team as we do young men. So our team is a little bit diverse because of that, but that's a good thing, right, guys?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so so there's a lot there that you said, Liv, about what the GaCo model is. Okay, so we're going to spend the rest of the time that we have unpacking that. Okay, so I think the first one you said was
Developing meaningful community partnerships.
okay. Who wants to talk more about that?
All right, so when we look for meaningful community partnerships, we look for win-win situations, which to us, the win is getting access to kids. So at everything we do, we have a lot of STEM activities that for any occasion, for community events, and we have a couple other examples, like the Garrett County government lets us use the Gears building, which is the facility that we practice in. And we give them the reputation of Garrett County being a first robotics hub in our state and region. Our public school system provides us with access to kids and funding as we provide a systemic impact in the schools, which we'll talk about more later. And then we have a festival of trees that we help out at for our Dove Center, and that provides us access to kids, and we teach kids more about Legos through cookie decorating. And then Pillar and Beitzel have been sponsors to us for the past 15 years, and they provide us with mentors and engineers, and we provide them with shared leadership in STEM education in Garrett County.
Very good. So I think the real and why our partnerships are meaningful. When we say meaningful partnerships, is because they are truly win-win. Yeah. So what we do is we try to look for organizations that we can help, and that can help us achieve our vision, and we can help them achieve their vision. And of course, if a partner wants to give us funding, that's always welcome, right?
Bring it on.
Right, but since our vision, we're very vision driven. Our vision is what, guys?
STEM ready kids.
STEM ready kids. So we can't have STEM ready kids unless we have access to kids. So like you said, Jess, the most valuable thing our partners can provide to us is access to students that we can help in some way, help to make them a little bit more STEM ready. We'll talk about what we mean by STEM ready maybe later on. Okay, so meaningful community partnerships is the one of the components of the GaCo model. So what's the other one?
The other one is mentoring younger first teams. And by mentoring younger first teams, our team has been given a lot between funding and access to kids and our students being well experienced in what they do. And because we have so much given to us, much is expected of us. So the expectations that are set, we need to meet up with them. And to do that, we inspire younger kids because that's what we're all about. we love it whenever younger students look up to us and say, we want to be just like you. And we also love sharing our knowledge and our love for engineering. But more than just our knowledge and love for engineering, we love developing students so that they can be STEM leaders and educators one day. And this goes just beyond just our team, as we help younger students in this becoming leaders. And we also encourage other younger teams to help us work towards our vision of STEM-ready kids, or even set their own vision with the aspect of STEM-ready kids. And if you haven't already watched our last video, goes more into depth about our vision of STEM-ready kids.
Very good. Of course, we're talking about mentoring younger first teams, yes. Right? Okay. So we one of the methods that we're using in order to establish our vision through the GaCo model is through first teams. Mm-hmm. Okay, through first teams. So let's talk a little bit about that. With first, there's 4 programs, correct? Mm-hmm. There's First Legal League Junior, mm-hmm. and I believe our team is we mentor and are responsible for, I think, 5 of those. Mm-hmm. And then we have First Legal League, and so we have what, 12 of those? Yeah. Okay, 12 of those teams, and that we mentor, and then we've just recently started with First Tech Challenge, and so we have 7 of those teams. Now, what I get really excited about First Tech Challenge teams is that most of them are embedded in the school day. Mm-hmm. So the students actually meet during their activity periods, and that gives access. Like, all of you have the ability to be at meetings after school, yeah. and can meet after school. Some students just don't have that ability. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's one of the things that we've noticed, and that's why we started this FTC. And some of even our FLL programs are embedded into the school day. And of course, then we also support our FLL program by hosting a FLL qualifier locally every year for our First Legal League teams here in Gare County and our neighboring Allegheny County. All right, so again, all of you have been in First Legal League teams or First Tech Challenge teams, and so that automatically obligates you, if you're in GaCo, to help support younger first teams, yeah. So we can have more of an opportunity for our younger students to belong to a first team. And in a way that increases, I think, Cheyenne, you said this, I got these straight, is that a lot of times when we can't go out and help another FTC team or GaCo FRC 1620 and I can't, one of our FTC teams can. Mm-hmm. All right, so it increases our capacity to build our program both here in Gare County, but also to work outside of Gare County into the surrounding Appalachia region, which we might talk about here if we have time at the end. Okay?
Great.
Where are we, Laurie?
Third. Okay, so the third part of this, and Katie, if you could tell us about the systemic impact, because to me this is the most exciting part here in Gare County.
Okay, so when we say systemic impact, it's a term we use to mean we make a difference to every student in our school system. And this goes beyond just impacting students who are already involved in a first program, or those that we have accidental contact with. It impacts every student in our school district. And this is the most valuable component of our model. It sets us apart from other first teams because we are making a broader impact. So how we do this, we go into every classroom, every 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classroom to teach our STEM waypoint lessons. And our 3rd grade lesson is our and it connects arrays and multiplication facts, which is the 3rd grade math for the year, to a fun STEM activity. Our 4th grade lesson are our binary number GaCo cards. It teaches students binary, and it's a fun and engaging lesson. Our 5th grade lesson is our golden ratio calibers are key to the universe. It introduces the Fibonacci number sequence and the number 5. It also puts the A in STEAM because a lot of Renaissance art uses this caliber and it connects art to STEM. So, additionally, every sixth grader does the FLL research project, which is called IR6, and it connects FLL to the sixth grade curriculum. And I think we're probably going to do another 16 minutes and 29-second video about our lessons in depth.
Yeah, I think what we want to do is take a camera into the classrooms as we're actually teaching these STEM waypoint lessons and video some of our techniques that we use in that. Now, these lessons you guys actually teach, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I know you guys like it so much you actually fight over who gets to teach. I know that. So it is a true win-win situation because it gives you guys an opportunity to go back into your old third, fourth, and fifth grade classrooms. Truth be known, I could probably teach these lessons, but no one wants to hear this from an old math teacher guy like me. They want to hear it from you guys, right? Yeah. And the other thing, and you guys will probably agree with me, is there's an old adage that says you don't really understand something or learn something until you try to teach it. Mm-hmm. And then when you do that, it really solidifies the concepts that you're trying to learn or teach in both the teacher's mind and the students. Okay. Plus, we have all these third graders saying, man, when I went into high school, I want to go back to my third grade classroom and teach these lessons. Again, these GaCo cards are designed to teach about binary numbers, right? So I would encourage anyone listening to this video, if you want to find out more about our GaCo cards, watch one of the 16-minute, 29-second with GaCo videos when we talk specifically about our binary number lesson. Or if you have one of the events that we happen to be competing at, stop by our pits and we will personally give you a set of these binary cards. People come to ask us for buttons. We generally don't have buttons. But we got something better.
We have a magic trick.
We have the GaCo cards that we freely give, it's a great way of introducing our team and what our team is all about. Before we leave systemic impact, I do want to talk about the name of our lessons. We call them STEM waypoint lessons. Can anyone tell us why we call them waypoint lessons?
Because in geocaching, you have a waypoint that if you get lost, you always have that waypoint to go back to. So students, if they get lost in a lesson about math, they can go back to when they learned about the golden ratio in 5th grade, and it'll be their waypoint and their lesson.
Very good. Yep. You know, all this has developed over years and years and years. That probably Jess's sister first started when she was on the team 15 years ago. So it's good to rehearse all this and to make it fresh in everyone's mind. It's really important to remember that when we're talking about our STEM waypoint lessons, that they are research-based. They're something we call it standards-based, meaning that they correlate with the curriculum that is the Common Core for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, the Maryland framework in our case, and that they are connected to what students are actually learning at each grade level in some way, and we always connect it to what they're learning about in the classroom.
Another thing about our systemic impact that we like to say is that superintendents like the idea of having a robotics program in their school district, but they love the idea of having a robotics program that makes a systemic impact like ours does.
And we've been able to connect with a lot of superintendents through presentations that we've given just because of that. Yep. Again, just having, our budget just to support our team every year is huge, huge. And one of the I wouldn't say criticism, but comments I hear is, well, you're spending all this money on just a small group of kids or students, but you guys are going and you're making a difference to every student in our school system.
Yes. And 27% of our funding actually goes back into our community through our STEM lessons.
Yeah, the Legos are expensive.
Yeah.
Very good.
Noah's going to finish us up. Noah, are you ready?
Yep.
So, what's special? What's important for us to know about the GaCo model? We've talked a lot about it here this evening, but what would you add?
So it's all in response to our team's vision. Each component has been developed as a strategy, if you will, towards our team's vision. And one of the challenges is that since our team's vision is getting so big, we needed to find a way to define ourselves to help other teams. And one of the ways of doing this was the GaCo model, which we found, as you see, it's an expanding model because that's ultimately what we want is an expanding vision. And each component behind it is intentional so that other teams can adopt our model and fulfill our vision.
Okay, so I think that concludes this session, the 60-minute, 29 seconds with GaCo session. And so we hope you join us for our next one. Thank you very much.
Stick with us.